Currently I'm just waiting to have some viewers come on, if you're watching. Yeah, I think you might be right, sadly, Mike. Although I've got a couple of people coming on now, but yeah, I'm wondering if it's done that again. I'll just do a share thing if it will let me share it. I'm just trying to remember how you do that now on the streams. Actually, it looks like I think everybody's seen it now, so I'm just trying to work out where I can sit to get myself more in frame. Is that a bit better? I'm not totally sure. Yeah, right, cheers. It's just the notifications were really slow going out then. Because, yeah, for the first, I think, 2 minutes of the stream, nobody was on. Sometimes they come on within 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Well, those of you who haven't seen it yet, see I've got the Soviet SS Leto camo on, with the M50 gas mask. Which is probably one of the best camo patterns ever in my opinion. I've wanted this for quite a while, but it was only recently I found a seller that wasn't charging an arm and a leg for it. And it actually, you know, turned up and everything, which was good, so. Got the SS Leto. I've got the trousers that match this as well, but I'm only wearing the top half at the moment. Well, no, it's not flecked arm, but weirdly enough, if you look at the older German World War II camo called Oak Leaf, it's a rip-off of that, just different colours. And yeah, the actual hood of it is elasticated, so it works with a gas mask quite well. I wouldn't trust it for actual NBC, like levels of protection, because it's not designed for that, but for, you know, stuff like this, yeah, it works well enough. To be honest, this is actually, I think, better when I've seen it tested than most, like flecked arm. The problem is flecked arm colours are too brown now, as I've been over before. It's not a very effective camo anymore. NBC was the name used for ages, CBRN's a more recent thing, and most NBC gear doesn't actually give the R, like radiological protection anyway. So I personally prefer the term NBC to CBRN. Like the old name for it was ABC, Atomic Biological Chemical. Yeah, there's the Serbian M3, which is similar to the US M40. They're real but deactivated. Yeah, thanks Rich. Yeah, to everybody, don't forget to like the stream. Where are you then that you've been snowed in then, Christian? Because no snow where we are. Yeah, Mute's gas mask from Rainbow Six Siege is the M50, yeah. But I think he's got like the tinted outsert for it, hasn't he? Because this is just the standard, like polycarbonate one. If I can get that off. Really. Quite hard trying to do it with the action mask on, but there you go. There's just as much glare if I have that off, but yeah, it's like the safety glass is almost outsert for the mask. Let's see if I can get that back on with the mask on my face. I'll just do it once the stream's ended, put it back on the mask when it's not on my face. But I'm not keeping the mask on for the entire stream because I've got a cup of coffee that's going to go cold if I do that. And obviously, as you can guess, I can't drink coffee with the mask on. It wouldn't work. So, yeah. Partisan is, one name says camo, but I don't actually know if it's the proper name for it. SS Leto, as far as I can tell, is the real name of it. No, I don't wear a gas mask every stream, I just thought I'd do it for a laugh today. I wondered if more people would be interested, because it says 68 watching. So I sort of wondered if I did that, would more people be interested in it than if it was just my face normally, if I had a mask on. Yeah, the cylinder ones are much better, aren't they, Fallout player, than the regular ones. Yeah, 73 watching now, so yeah, it seems that maybe I'll have to wear a different mask every stream now. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I'll start each stream off with a different gas mask. It'll have to be one with a voice diaphragm though, because otherwise it wouldn't be any good, but the thing is with these is the filters are supposedly long since expired and you're not going to get replacement 150 filters anyway, so I'd never use this as a real military mask in the sense I just use a 40mm. Because the problem with this is mine has the old valve style. So you might be able to see on there, these don't necessarily close properly when I take the mask off. They sometimes get stuck in an open position. I think this one's actually closed. Let's see. Yeah, that's actually self-sealed itself properly, so that's good, but yeah, mine's got the old valve design which doesn't work as well. Anyway, let's get this off now. Now I can work out... Oh, it's messed my hair up, look at that. That's why I like it when I'm actually bald. There's the M50, I'll put that down then. Should have some coffee before it goes completely cold. Can't buy Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, I could buy it, but I couldn't play it because I don't have a PS4. So, pointless for me buying it. And I don't see the point for me getting a PS4 because I want to get a new PC fairly soon. So. There we go, and that's the outsert back on. As my hair looks silly, I'll put the Leto hood back on. There we go. No, I won't be doing any games today, because I'm doing a webcam stream, obviously. Yeah, that's an L1A1 SLR, the British version of an FN file. Plain colours don't work too well as camo, simply for the reason that with plain colours you don't have a disruptive effect. One of the reason camo works is you can probably see on here the splodges a different colour helps break the wearer's outline up. When you have just a solid colour it might blend in potentially, but the human silhouette is far more visible because at a distance you can still work out that's a person shape. When you've got different colours on there and different patterns, it means the eye has a hard time working out that it's actually a single person. Well, you probably could have stupid colours in a disruptive pattern. I have no idea, Scottish Prepper.
But you probably could have silly colours if it was in a disruptive pattern that might work a bit, but the point is that you need really colours that are actually ones that are going to blend in. If I was going to get one, a PS4, but I'm not going to get a modern console because I normally play on PC. Yeah, but the thing is, deer are normally mottled. They're not just like a pure shade of brown. Most creatures are actually kind of mottled. Like if you look at rabbits, especially, they're like grey and brown, but they're not. It's like their fur pattern is actually kind of disruptive. They're not, and the same with like most fish that are hard to see. They can have one or two colours that are very similar, but they've actually kind of got like a speckly shade to them. Whereas if you just have a solid, you know, one colour camo on, it's not going to work as well. Oh, that sounds good, Richard. I mean, I'd be no good at welding, or sort of forging, but I do find that stuff sort of interesting. At the moment, an RX 480, and it's not actually the GPU I have any need to upgrade, to be honest. It's more that I just want a better CPU, so when I'm rendering videos, it's just much faster. The M50 was £50. I can't test a ballistic mask because we don't have firearms in the UK, or at least not which I'd be allowed to use. Tactical pen because it's legal, Proforce. It depends what kind of air raid it is. If it's a nuclear one, you die, is the answer to that. Right, so now I'm just waiting for people to bring up interesting comments. And it's the MRE question again that I get on every stream. No, I don't, because I have no interest in them, to be honest. Most MREs are a rip-off. Nerfer squad, I can't tell if you're doing that on purpose, but look in the FAQ below you. That will be your warning on it. If you do an FAQ question again, you'll get a block, just because I know people do that to be irritating. Most World War II uniforms prior to the camo ones obviously weren't very good at being camo. Some of like the British khaki style ones, or khaki, however you want to say it, were alright, like British and Australian type stuff. The US olive drab was obviously okay, but in general, obviously, proper camo uniforms are better than not camo. Now, I've done a video already recently where I said why I didn't bother going on online communities. I'm going to have to put slow mode on, I think, because I'm not going to be able to keep up with the chat when everybody tries to talk over each other. Now, I've already done videos on that Scottish prepper, but for the most part you don't, you die, which is the preferable option. Because watch threads and then say, oh, would I really want to die slowly of radiation poisoning than actually just going quickly in the blast. Multicam in terms of colours, Flecktarn in terms of pattern. Ideally I'd want multi-tarn. Oh, I don't have a PMK2, so I can't try anything with it. I think Childs might potentially be the thing at the end, because he like runs off, doesn't he, at one point. But weirdly enough, I was watching Pitch Black earlier before I did the stream. I've seen that before, obviously, you know, the first Riddick film. And that's got Keith David in that, hasn't it? I didn't even realise until I watched it this time that Keith David was in it. I know they've made it, but it's not on the surplus market. It's, you know, it exists, but... It's already trademarked multi-tarn, because the Germans are making it. Yeah, I've not tried doing anything with it. I know you made the comment, but I've not tried it yet, because like I said, I'm not a fan of the PMK mask regardless. like £20 that for an OM14. They're very common. Where Eagles Dare is my favourite war movie. It would do Soviet Gamer, yeah. Well, most of them would, yeah. Depending on the filter type. Yeah, this is weird. I've got 70 people on the stream again, so that's quite a lot for me, which is nice, but this is also where it kind of gets a bit absurd with the comments, where it's just lots and lots of silly comments that aren't worth answering. So I'm going to have some more coffee, and I'm going to wait for some more select questions, which I'll then answer. Oh, Trollden, that's because the Danes bought British surplus during the Cold War to use themselves, so they put stamps on them when they got them. I don't have any Rhodesian camo, so I can't review it. Yeah, I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan, so of course I've seen Full Metal Jacket. Oh, in a conventional air raid, you'd duck and cover. If you had a bomb shelter, you'd go into it. No, I don't think the F-35s are worth it. If they'd all been completely developed and they worked fine, and Britain just simply had the option of buying them from the US, then that would be fine. But if we're like, you know, early adopting technology that doesn't work, that's quite a different thing. Yeah, I've not seen the original Scarface. I've seen the remake. Yes, the Israeli... no, the Israeli filter won't, because the Israeli civilian filter's NATO. Obviously, GOST masks are GOST. So, so yeah, you'd need... because the Israeli masks themselves are normalised. No, I've like I said before, I'm not gonna have any interest in the Metro games, so I'm not gonna get it when it comes out. You can just get them on eBay, as I've said loads of times. No, it's like one of those weird nylon-y jackets they do. That, you know, like a part raincoat, whatever. It zips up. I've got the trousers with it as well. But it's like the elasticated ones you wear over your clothes. So in the summer, you don't really wear anything under it, and then in the winter you pull it over other clothes to make you even warmer. And just to warn people, if you keep spamming the same thing over and over again, you're just going to annoy me. If that's the name from, then that's the name from. I'll just Google that actually. Yeah, that seems to be the right sort of thing. Yeah, Sumrak suit, that looks like the kind of thing. I just wanted to get this particular camo pattern, but the nice thing where they're printed on this material, I don't think it's going to really fade, because it's a bit like when you have Gore-Tex printed with camo patterns. It doesn't fade compared to you know, like cottony based fabrics. Only Russia still makes GOST filters as far as I'm aware. I've seen some of the newer Russian masks, yeah, which are like they look like the PMK sort of voice diaphragms, don't they, on the sort of GP5 PMG style masks. There's a GP2, as far as I'm aware there's not a GP1, so there's GP2, GP4, GP5, GP5M, if you're going to count that as a separate mask, I don't know, GP7, GP9, so yeah. You could get him like something like Raccoon of the Dead. You could get him a what's it? They Shall Not Grow Old's out now, isn't it? Because I'm getting somebody that as a Christmas present. So that came today in the post, and I'll have to wrap that up. Depends if you want a trench coat or not. No, there's not an address to get to me. I don't have a PO box. I don't get fan mail. Only certain people on here I'd ever trust to give my address to. That sounds interesting, Rich. It'd be interesting to see what the crossbow's like if you do a custom limb for it. SHMS is my favourite. One of the Soviet masks, full stop. So now I'm waiting for the interesting questions to come back on again, because as usual, you get a massive surge of questions at once where you can't keep up with it, and then all of a sudden you get a period where nobody asks you anything. Well, you can get cheap GOS filters on eBay, but do you mean modern ones? Because if you mean modern ones, that might be a bit more difficult. No, because I'm crap at making stuff. I've heard of... Do you mean like Pencock Greenstone Fallout player? I've heard of it, but I think when I looked it up I didn't think it was that impressive. No, no such thing as armoured gas masks unless you just mean bits of polycarbonate on them. Yeah, but I was fine a couple of weeks ago anyway. I've actually been ill today, weirdly enough, but that's just an ulcerative colitis thing. So, but yeah, I'm better this evening than I was this morning. It looks like more bulk. I mean, giving soldiers more armour might be a good thing, but, you know. I do think a lot of this spending on military stuff is just done in a stupid way. So, you know, that's my opinion on that. This traps more heat than I was actually expecting, this thing. I don't know if it's because I've got the hood up. I don't know if somebody's put the radiators on in the house either. Oh yeah, I think the radiators have been put on, unfortunately. And now again we've run into the scenario where nobody's asking questions. £100 on an XM28, Riley. The XM28E4, you know, the grasshopper, that one. If it's from 1990, then it's probably expired. It could still work, it depends what you want it for. Obviously, primarily having a decent amount of infantry, decent training for them, small arms and equipment, armoured vehicles, things like that. That's a very vague question. I don't know how I'm supposed to give you an entire budget readout on an entire military sort of thing. There are a couple of small arms companies still in Britain, IKEA, but for the most part I think we just buy foreign stuff now because the Tories really hate British industry. So I don't think we'd be making anything domestic. The EM2 should have just been, you know, adopted like 50, 60 years ago, but it wasn't. Yeah, I've already said I'd get an M65 if I could. It's just I'm not going to bother, you know, I'm not going to bother with it until there's an easy one to get where I know it's going to turn up. Google exchange rate and then it will tell you, as I'm not going to look it up for you. It's probably about 1.3. Right, do you mean the Soviet Union? Because that's Russia in the Cold War, the Soviet Union. I don't have anything personally against Russians, but, you know, the Soviets are pretty bad, but I suppose the Americans did a lot of bad things as well. But it's good, isn't it, that the Cold War never kicked off and everybody lived. You know, that's a good thing, so. D&B Militaria I get all my deactivated guns from. I didn't know your grandma went around wearing camo, but okay. Probably not Gamcool, but I don't know if it would even work in this country, to be honest. You know, I think if lots of people here were just suddenly given firearms, they do really, really stupid things with them. Totally depends on the gun, Riley. That's an impossible question. It's like how long the filters last. Now, I've got a recurve bow. There's one right behind you, look. It's there. They normally weld stuff in them. So normally they plug the barrel, weld the barrel, normally cut out some of the internals. It totally depends on the severity of the deactivation law in whichever country it's in. eBay, weirdly enough. Yeah, Mike spotted it. I did say to Mike it was going to be there. I showed it last stream, but it's actually, I did mount it because I put a raw plug in and did it properly, and would just hope, because it doesn't weigh much, I'm not worried that it'll pull a section of the wall off again. £400, the Lee Enfield, or close enough to that. The katanas, Sohei, or whatever it's called, the arming swords are Hanwei. The sabre that you can just about see as well is a windlass one. No, I don't have a K98. The only bolt action rifle I've got is the Lee Enfield. Yeah, it's called Project MK Ultra, Raccoon from the Dead, when they did all the human experimentation. No, it did not go to uni. Because, you know, if you go to uni, unless you really want to get in a specific field, you're basically getting 30 grand in debt, with no job opportunities at the end of it, which a lot of people find out the hard way now. All my guns are new spec, as far as, well, not new spec, because new spec means a different thing now. They're mid-spec, if that's the right term for it. I've got the Russian camo on, so maybe I am a Russian spy, I don't know. I might do a stream on Christmas, but I'm not going to do a Christmas special, no. Like I said before, if I had unlimited money and it wasn't an option, of course I'd buy like an APC, but, you know, the cost of running it would be insane, so obviously I'm not really going to get one. I think you can bowfish Fallout player, so I'm pretty sure bow fishing's legal, but every other sort of bow hunting's illegal. No, I'm not really a prepper, as I've said on my streams. We keep like 2 weeks worth of water and food in the house, and that's it. You know, as well as having like stuff for other sorts of emergencies, but I'd just say that's being sensible, not really being a prepper. It really depends how you define it. Yeah, you mean air rifles? I've got 2 air rifles. Yeah, you can get shotguns legally in the UK. It's quite easy to do, but I don't have any purpose for one, so I've never bothered. I've got a compound bow as well. There's one in that same corner. You can see the pulley from it. The pulley is literally there. You can see where the compound bow, and I've got a compound crossbow as well. No, because we're probably not even going to get Brexit at this point, are we? This is Soviet SS Leto camo. So it's basically German World War II oak leaf, just with the colours changed. Don't need an air rifle license here. Yeah, it's Article 13, but as I've already said, Fallout player, I try not to bring up politics in these streams, but people keep doing it, so that's your warning, politely, not to keep bringing it up. I wasn't speaking to you, Harrison, when I said that, so Don't know why you're apologising. Right. Yeah, it says it in the FAQ, don't bring up politics, you know, or religion, because it just pisses people off when people start talking about all that stuff when we're trying to have a more interesting conversation about militaria. But every time I do that, you know, mention it in the stream, you always get one person who throws a fit about it, and they're like, why can't I bring up whatever I want in somebody else's stream? Read the top of the description, KOM. That's your warning on that. There's a whole point why it says read description. It's to stop people asking FAQ questions. Yep, well, if you can guess by the flail and the sword on the wall, yeah, I do like medieval stuff. I don't mind beer. I prefer ale to, like, you know, well, like saying ale to lager, like bitter basically. And I don't have any hat sands. I have a Gammo and a Crossman. Yeah, Crossman Nitro Venom's the other one. Yep, that's a FAL. L1A1 SLR. It depends. Around here we get a lot of Breakspear or Brackspear, whatever it's called, and that's quite nice. But I'll try pretty much any of the bitters. I quite like Adnam's Ghost Ship, which is a pale ale, because that's got like quite a lime sort of citrus flavour to it. So you know, I used to do judo, but I haven't done martial arts in years. This is the closest thing to World War II SS camo I have. I will do a test on this one at some point, but... Oh, you can't send me ale because nobody can send me anything on here. The filters I used were the ones that had charcoal in, but I think they were long since expired. So, you know, like I said, cheek filter masks, if you've got expired filters, they're useless because you can't replace them in this sort of thing. What do you mean about Serbian AK-47? Do you mean the M70 rifle? Or M72? Or... Alright, cool. That's really cool, Alex. Well done. Sorry, I missed your comment when you first said that because one of the other comments came up. No idea what that is, Chris. They wouldn't burn very well, but I'm a collector. I don't burn and destroy antiques. I didn't know there's colour night vision, but that's interesting. How much does that cost? I bet that costs a lot, but I find that quite interesting actually. I haven't played Fallout 76 and I won't play Fallout 76. But like I predicted, it would be a train wreck, and I was absolutely right. I suppose this is an article as in an opinion piece, not a real thing, because the US is just going to continue using AR platform for pretty much forever. They've not found a replacement for the ARs, and I don't think they will. I collect most militaria, it just depends on the price, Riley, but I don't think I have any World War II knives, no. Other than the reproduction Fairbairn Sykes. Personally, I like the AK-74s quite a lot, but like AR platforms and AKs, I like both of them. I wouldn't really, you know, say, oh, one's bad and one's good. I have some VZ60 if that's Czech Raindrop, because that's the one with the IR pattern underneath it. I've already done videos on that. Although the colour isn't as good on that one, because that's the one that's too grey when I've tested it outside under regular light. No, I've got that and the, you know, like Israeli style knife, this one. I've just got those on, there's a space where I can actually store them in front of me, so they both sit there. But yeah, it's just, they're convenient ones to get at if people ask about them, but lots of my knives aren't. Yeah, £70 for M50 is very good. Yeah, I watch Forgotten Weapons, sometimes in range as well. But Paul Harrell's my favourite YouTube gun channel by far, because he's actually really knowledgeable on the stuff. You know, and his videos are quite interesting, the stuff he does. Depends what you mean by paratroopers being underutilised. If you mean like they're not used much anymore, that's just purely a thing, isn't it? Because it's a situational thing whether you can use them. I mean, you can use them as regular infantry, obviously, but if you mean paradropping them. There's two swords in the background. There's a Hanwei arming sword and a katana. Now, I just advise you watch my gas mask videos if you want stuff like that, because there's nothing I can really tell you easily on the stream that I haven't been into before. Do you mean on Steam when you say holiday deals? Or do you mean Black Friday? Because Black Friday is not really a big thing in the UK. I think I bought the Crash Insane trilogy in Black Friday sales. I think that was in November I bought that. And that's quite good. Yeah, I'll do all the sorts of things eventually like that, Levi, or Levy, whichever one your name is. But it's just when I get time and space to do it. Well, they're real, but they're not obviously real medieval swords. They're replicas in that sense, but they're proper functional replicas. When you say what mass have you always wanted, I take it you mean mask. I'd really like a Canadian C4, but I've never seen those for sale in the UK. No, I don't have any World War I gas masks, as I've said lots of times. The reason being, you'd have to look after them in a really, really specific way. You know, you'd have to really look after them and everything, and then I wouldn't be able to do that because you'd need, like, almost, I think, to keep them in an airtight case kind of thing. And that's, you know, even knowing that you've not bought a fake or whatever. I have a replica of a World War I mask, but... yeah, my car's fine. That gets asked by Bullfrog every time he's on the stream, because I think he wants me to say it's broken down, and it never has. Wherever I've got space for them, I've done videos on where I keep them. Loads in cupboards, loads on shelves, wherever. I wouldn't mind doing reenactment, there's nothing near me where people actually do it, so... you know. Of course, I'm still getting some really random weird comments from people on here that make no sense. I'd probably rather do medieval style reenactment stuff because I think that'd be more interesting than people shoot rifle at you, fall down, pretend to die. You know, actually physically hitting each other with blunt swords sounds a lot more interesting. No, it's not an NBC suit, it's just an SS Leto camo suit. I'm just waiting for the interesting questions again. As I say often happens, you sometimes get loads and loads of questions at once, and then you get people randomly chatting with each other or not asking questions. I don't even know what you're on about, bricks and builds. Right, while I'm waiting to see if there's any interesting stuff, I'm going to type in gas masks into eBay and see if anything interesting's for sale on there. GP5s, fake M50s, OM14 GP5, a couple of NBC suits, cheap paint spraying masks, FM12s for £40 each, GP7s, IP5s, fake masks, fake masks, fake masks. Is that Polish MP5? Yep. MC1, paint spraying masks, GSRs, light anti-gas respirators, GP5s, BEM4 GPs, MC1s, S10s, PMGs, SHMSs, some filters, M61s. So yeah, nothing out of the out of nothing, you know, not that's not normal anyway. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, Richard, whether you sometimes see that on eBay where somebody keeps trying to put an item up for a stupid amount of money and it never sells, and then they just keep relisting it at really expensive prices, unaware of why, you know, it's not selling. Right, see you, Alex. I haven't played Stalker in a while. I last played it on stream when I played it. That was just called a Pripyat without mods. I've got a lot of East German stuff, but that's mostly because it was cheap. Yeah, that's Russian camo. Well, originally German World War II camo repurposed by Russia or the Soviet Union. I liked Armour 2 a lot. I never really got into Armour 3. Other than moving to Scotland because it's remote, not really, because the laws in Scotland are even worse than the UK for the most part. No, I've not been to that island. I never liked Armour 3 when I played it. I don't know why, but every time I try and get into Armour 3, I always just can never do it. Armour 2 I quite like, but I just don't know why Armour 3. I think it was because it was so badly optimised at launch that, you know, I never really got into it because of that. I think it's just I preferred the maps in Armour 2, it might have been, you know, and like the factions. I think I didn't like Armour 3 as much as well because it was like that sort of semi-futuristic kind of thing, whereas, you know, Armour 2 is kind of like modern day. No, I've already said there's not an air rifle licence in England. No, I have 2 jobs, YouTube being one, the other one's a cleaning job that I do at the weekends. I've not necessarily moved them to this time permanently, it's just this is a convenient time for me to do it today, Trent. I don't think the stream's frozen for anybody else. Just press F5 on your browser. I quite like M90, but I don't know how well it would work because of how blocky straight lines it is. Red Dragon's probably the best war game in the sense that it's the latest one, if that's what you're on about, because it's got the most content in it. No, I just literally answer the question on M90, and then, unless you mean have I worn it, no, I've not worn it myself. I've seen it, but I think whenever it's been surplus, it's been really expensive. I'll check for you, Richard, because I don't know, because like I said, my videos are all really far in advance. December the 19th, so 9 days away. I assume that's next Wednesday, is it? Yeah, that's next Wednesday. So not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. Or as in repeater rifles. Yeah, they're pretty cool, but obviously don't have any because I'm in the UK. Do you mean a Osdo? Do you mean a deactivated one or a live firing one? You already asked me that, Jay the Czech. Deactivated, just go on somewhere like D&B Militaria and buy one, but they're costing more and more now because of the deactivation laws changing, unfortunately. Now, as I've already said, I'm not gonna get a shotgun license. There's no point in me getting one. I have no use for it. Did I answer the Metallica question? I don't know. Regards to Metallica, I quite like the Ride the Lightning album. In terms of music, anything that sounds good, really. So that's not a proper answer for you. Yeah, but I've already said with Stalker 2 that I don't know if it's actually gonna be good at all because the game coming out, you know, without many of the original devs working on it, that was already meant to come out once and then got cancelled. I don't have too much faith, personally. I'll try and be optimistic, but, you know, personally I just don't believe it's gonna come out. Yeah, AC/DC are alright. Favourite sniper rifle? I quite like Dragunov's, but would you consider that a DMR and not a sniper rifle? I don't know. Well, personally, I don't like sportified rifles. I think if it's a proper old-fashioned military rifle, keep it like that. I did a video on that just the other day, Charles. Didn't you bother watching it? No, I've never worn hobnail boots. I wouldn't have any purpose for needing them. You do know that moving to a country involves more than just flying over there. You can get a flight to any country very cheaply. That doesn't give you the right to live there. Depends. If you mean if it was a massive scale war, then potentially. It depends if it's like a conflict that escalates somewhere. I've never had Israeli military boots, so I can't comment. I like German and Austrian boots, but I've never, you know, like had any of them. That is a bit political, but I will answer that. Sadly, I think it looks like Macron's going to stay in power for now. Out of all the ones I've got, Trent, the Polish L1 suit, I think it is. Look up the videos on it, Lovar Lackland. I've got some NBC suits, Jailer Check, which are basically anti-chemical raincoats. That's how they work. No, because wool's quite outdated. No, never heard of it. Yeah, I enjoy doing it, otherwise I wouldn't do it. You know, if I didn't enjoy making videos, I wouldn't do it. Simple. You can get a lot of the old Warsaw Pact NBC suits quite cheaply. I wouldn't mind doing one with Mike, it's just we both need to remember at one point to do it, you know. Saying that's the issue is where I, you know, I keep saying that we ought to do it, and then Mike says at other points we ought to do it, and we're never both free or think to do it, and that's the problem. Yeah, but I haven't bought any new ones in a while. The last one I got was that newer electric one, just because or was it the IMCO? No, I think the latest one I got was the IMCO 6700, but it's mostly just because I've not spotted any more interesting new designs. Right, thanks Woozy. Least favourite World War II rifle? What's the Japanese one which was the really underpowered cartridge? Because I know there's a couple of the Arasakas. Some were decent, but there were some bad ones. They're probably the bad Arasaka, but as I said, I can't shoot them here, so it's not much interest to me anyway. Yeah, then it'll be a Type 38 Arasaka I'm thinking of. I'll have a look at that raincoat then, but whether or not there's any for sale, I don't know. Yeah, they're pretty cheap. Oh, it's that bin bag looking one. Yeah, I know that one. Oh, but they want £13 postage, and I'm not paying them that. You don't need to de-string modern bows. Unless it's a wooden bow, they don't need de-stringing. They're designed to be left strung. Yeah, I'm sure if you're in Czechoslovakia, if you're in Czech Republic, I'm sure you can get them cheap, but online it doesn't seem you can for shipping to the UK. I've seen some old Finnish uniforms, yeah, but I don't obviously have any of them. I don't think it's That wasn't meant to happen. I don't think it's that it's forbidden. Well, it is obviously forbidden, but you know what I'm getting at. It's not used because it's forbidden. I think the reason it's not used is because it's hard to actually use properly, if that makes sense, with chemical weapons. Because there's too much, you know, like collateral almost with it. And yeah, you'll get in loads of trouble for actually using it as well, but I don't think that concerns a lot of countries. For the last few minutes of the stream, I'll put the M50 back on because I've not got any more coffee to drink. There we go. Yeah, FP5 filters are safe. It's neither an NBC suit or a Gorka suit, it's just the camo suit. No idea. If there's snakes that could bite you where you are, maybe it's sensible. Right, see ya if you're off. Already it's my XM28. Well, civil defence would be very helpful, but no, we don't have that anymore, sadly. Well, it depends. Do you want to endanger your health for your own amusement? Up to you. I can't answer that for you. That's for you to decide. Obviously not legally, Matham, so that will be all I'll say on that. Probably Flecton, but like the 80s, 90s style of it, not the modern one. What do you mean the suit I have? This suit, these are only about 30 quid. It's probably even cheaper if you're in Eastern Europe to buy them. As said, probably Flecton. Favourite gun's that one now. No idea. I think you might have asked me that before, Gisley, and I really don't know. Do you mean does the M50 fog up? Not really. Let me just breathe through it a load while you're watching, and I'll breathe out as hard as possible so it will be more likely to fog up, and we'll see. No, it doesn't fog up. Do you mean with the riot helmet? Basically any of the masks that fit properly with it, so that's mostly going to be masks like GP5s, to be honest. Yeah, it's one of those never-ending mirrors, isn't it? Because it's going to be like
there and there, and it's just going to constantly keep going and going and going. If I'm filming a video, yeah, otherwise no. Yes, you Vanden, because I've done videos on it. Yeah, I'll probably watch that as well, Mike. Now you can see the filters are there, look. Right, I'll probably finish the stream there because I'm not getting many questions coming through now, and I have been over an hour. So this stream probably had the most viewers out of any of the streams I did recently, which in some ways is nice, but it also means I had to put up with lots of people being idiots on purpose. So thanks to everybody that basically said sensible things. And as usual, stream on Thursday next time.